Does it ever seem like the American dream just seems to get farther and farther and farther away? They did a recent study on Gen Z, and a lot of people in Gen Z and a lot of people in the millennial group are feeling the same way. They feel like the American dream is non-existent. It's unattainable to have. So many problems going on in our culture. The economy is a huge one. Relationships are a huge one. These two things drive societies forward, grow them, or destroy them if they aren't being maintained properly. So it's all starting to make sense now why people can't get an affordable job to pay off their, just to live actually. Forget paying off debt, just to have afford everyday things. It's starting to make sense why it's so hard to find different jobs. We can easily say it's AI taking some of the jobs, artificial intelligence, robots, but that's in the future. Really what it is, guys, is this. The migrants have accepted doing more with less. See, America, we've gotten too inclusive. We just let everybody in. And that's a huge problem. Because the migrants, wherever they come from, they're going to take your job. How are they going to take your job? Because you know, as an American, you can't live off of $15 an hour. But to the migrant, they are going to take that job at $15 an hour for various reasons. One, because they need a job. They're here illegally most times. Or they just, they don't have a lot of skills or qualifications. So they're going to take whatever job they can get. But secondly, and probably one of the most important ones, is they're going to take that job because he's living or she's living with 5 to 10 people back in an apartment or house. And so with you, American, not taking that $15 an hour job and the migrant taking it, that boxed you out of the market. And so if you're a business person, why would you hire this American this is why our culture isn't American anymore. We're not hiring Americans first or requiring the people that move here to speak proper English. This is why Trump recently came out and said truck drivers got to speak English. It might be too far gone at this point because a lot of them do not speak proper English, and they're good drivers for these companies. And you're gonna tell these companies to lay off some of their best drivers, most reliable drivers, because we're gonna get into that in just a second. What's wrong with actual Americans today? But they're going to do better. They're going to perform faster, more reliable, with less money, and box you out of a job. And that's why these businesses are like, I'm not going to hire this American. We're not going to hire this migrant for cheaper. And they'll be not always the better quality, but they'll perform faster, quicker. And really, that's what these companies want. They want production to shoot up. And we see this with Boeing. They want the production and manufacturing to shoot up. And it didn't always have to be quality. Quantity over quality, profits over that. So, yeah, they're outsourcing your jobs right in front of you, right here in America. Back then it was NAFTA, but now they're doing it right in front of your face. which guarantees you what? That the American dream of you getting a proper job just got harder. Now, here's the other problem. Americans have gotten lazy. So you mix in those two problems of a person that wants a higher wage but doesn't deserve it because they're not reliable enough, and then you give that job over to a migrant who's reliable and going to show up to work every day and not complain about it and not be lazy at the job. Well, that's a recipe for disaster. So we've kind of made our own bed. This is why you got people on both sides talking about, well, if we get rid of the illegal migrants, who's going to work the jobs? Your ass is supposed to work these damn jobs. But we're not, because Americans are lazy. So they have to go get a migrant, or they have to outsource it to somewhere else, because we're not producing enough. We don't have the birth rates are low, and we're overly entitled, don't want to work longer, want to work only remote jobs, don't want to be out in the sun, work a 10-hour shift. Our work culture is non-existent. And so it's not only the migrants, but it's our American laziness that is pricing us and making sure the American dream is non-existent. So you have that. And then for the hardworking people, Americans, it's gonna be hard, right? We're already staring down the barrel of possibly not having Social Security, a 401k being lackluster. And so you're boxed out of jobs for numerous reasons. For most of the reasons I just stated, which is killing you in your American dream. Then you tack on the cost of living is too high because the wages aren't keeping up, because the migrants are taking less and doing more with it. Housing is unaffordable. You can't afford to buy a house and have a family anymore off of one income like we did in the 1950s. And then, of course, good luck trying to find an American woman that's quality that will want to do that with you. So our work culture as Americans is deteriorating right before our eyes. This is why when Trump wins, or if he, when us and China make a deal, it won't really matter because Americans are too lazy. Yeah, it's going to bring back manufacturing to America, but do you think that Gen Z is going to work those warehouses and all that stuff for 10 hours a day at a time? The work ethic to bring that level of production back to America? No. Which is just going to force them to make, all these plants robotic or AI driven, which is just going to further dig you a further hole, not making or creating any jobs for you. This is what the future looks like, guys. The American work culture has been dying. The American dream has been dying for a long time. And this is what you have to plan around and adjust around. There's not really any community left. It's just every man for himself. Whoever has the best skill sets that are advancing with society will survive. If you're stuck in the past, you will fall by the wayside. that's my video. You guys have a good day, good week, and I will see you guys the next one, man. Peace.